most statics are either over-designed or over-researched. But the best brands are using them as a weapon to slash their CPA. They're testing new angles rapidly because of static ads, and they're able to scale them quickly when they find a winner. And let me tell you the difference. It's systems. I'm Fraser, I'm the co-founder here at Fraggle, and we make ad creative for some of your favorite D2C brands. Aloha, Leaf Shave, The Black Stuff, Chomps, just to name a couple. And from someone that has personally designed and researched and created static ads that have helped clients scale by millions of dollars over the past 7 years of working in this industry, I can tell you I know how to do this. Today we're going to cover everything from copywriting to design to research to show you how to make the perfect static ad. And the best part is I'm going to show you every single process with performance in mind, because that is what matters. And if you want any type of ad creative for your D2C brand, then make sure you check the link down in the description. Just visit fraggle.com and you can apply to work with us. Now let's jump straight into it, shall we? So the first part, any kind of ad creative, not necessarily just static ads, is deep research. You need a firm understanding of who the brand is selling to, what the product is, and why people even care about it. Because without that, then you're just kind of shooting in the dark. So we're going to be using one of our clients as an example, Leaf Shave. There's a couple of things that we can do to do our research, but the first thing I like to do is literally just to visit their website. It's often the best place to start, and you get a good idea of what the brand does and the visual identity. So just by first looks on their website, if we didn't know anything about them, we can tell they're very brand conscious, they're very eco-conscious, they have an incredibly good looking product, and their whole thing is about giving you your best shave. Now, obviously we've been working with Leaf Shave for a number of months now, and so I have a much deeper understanding of the brand than the average person would do coming into this account. However, we can use what we have here to start to gather some ideas. So we can see that they have a number of different use cases. They have body shaving, face shaving, head shaving, fuzz shaving, a load of different products for different areas of the body. So perhaps that's one angle that we can do. But the best place to start with research, in my opinion, is by using AI to help us. Deep research is probably one of the best things that you can use AI for, because researching anything takes a long time. And if you can get AI to cut some of that time out for you, then you can use that for another part of the process. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to head over to ChatGPT and I'm going to get ChatGPT to write me a deep research prompt for Leaf Shave. Now, I actually already have a prompt that I use for this. You can feel free to copy this. I'll put it in the description for you. But essentially what we're saying here, I want you to write me a prompt for deep research that will help me find out more about the customers of my client's product. Think about every possibility or reason why someone would buy or wouldn't buy. Who should we be targeting? Their pain points, how do they feel after their purchase, etc. The client is called, and then we just need to put in the brand here, Leaf Shave, and their website is, there we go. For context, we are a creative performance agency creating ads for shave. Okay, and now I'm asking it to deliver this in plain text. So what I'm doing here is I'm asking ChatGPT to write a prompt for itself, specifically for their deep research tool. Okay, so then I just click go and it's going to write me a prompt pretty quickly. Okay, so now all I need to do is copy this prompt into a brand new tab. Okay, so we'll wait for this to write and then we'll literally just copy and paste it in, and we'll make sure that we're using deep research. So let's copy this. Let's go and open a new chat. Let's pop it in here. Let's make sure that we remove any of this information here. We'll go to tools here. We'll go to deep research, and then we literally just click go. Now, this is going to take a little bit longer than the usual prompt. The reason for that is because it actually does deep research. It might ask some qualifying questions like this. Are you looking to insert primarily on the US customer? So I'm going to answer those. US to look at D2C only. And I'm just going to let it go for it. And now it's going to take about 15 minutes or so to start to research. Now, just to save some time, I've pulled up one that I did earlier, and this is what you should get out of it. It's going to be a huge document here, which is telling you exactly why people buy Leaf Shave and why the product is so good. So what you can do, you can either copy and paste this into a Google Doc if you want, or you can just download the document yourself. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to download that as a PDF. done, we now have a huge basis of research for our product. Now, you can just leave it at that if you want, or you can go and do some more manual research. I'm talking about looking at Reddit, at Amazon reviews, at customer reviews. All this kind of stuff can really help you get a good picture of why the brand is successful and why people are buying. One of my favorite new tools is actually Reddit Answers. So this is a free AI driven tool in Reddit, and you can basically ask it anything you want and it will comb through Reddit and it will find relevant stuff. So for example here, why do people like leaf shave? Okay, I'm just going to search that. It's going to look through Reddit and it's now going to come back and it's going to give me a couple of lines and then link to a subreddit where the post actually is. So the pros of leaf shave, the multi-blade system. Leaf shave uses 3 blades, which many find attractive for a close shave. The pivoting head is a significant feature, making it easier. Now, where the real value comes in with Reddit Answers is that you can go back to the original subreddit and the original post and you can start to have a look at it. So sustainability, let's say, let's click on that and it's going to give us a breakdown. We're thinking about getting the leaf razor. They go on to, to basically ask what, if they should buy it. And then there is like a full comment here about why someone bought it. I bought the leaf in 2020. I still love it. I'm so impressed by it. It'll give you like real customer language of why people are buying this, away from just reviews. Because if we mentioned in previous videos, reviews are sometimes a little bit biased because they're either really good or they're really bad, because people only leave reviews on the company's website when they really love the product or they really hate the product. And sometimes the brands remove the really bad ones, so you're kind of left with only positive things. But when you come to Reddit directly, you can really hear why people love or hate the product. And even if they hate it, that doesn't mean that you should just disregard this research. This is really great because it could be things that you could address within ads to help push potential dubious customers over the edge of purchasing. Before we go any further in the video, make sure that you hit subscribe and make sure you hit like and leave a comment. It really helps us gain some inspiration of what videos to make next and lets us know that we're doing the right thing. Back to the video. So once we have a firm idea of the actual product and the brand, we've done our research there. Now we should probably have a look at the niche in general. I find the best way to do this is by using any kind of like ad searching tool. I use 4Play, but there's a ton of other tools out there that do very similar things. So within 4Play, I normally end up in the discovery feed. This is essentially just like a live feed of what everyone is saving on the platform, and you can filter it down. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to filter by niche. And for this, because we're using leaf shave, I'm going to see what fits. Probably health and wellness, potentially tech. No, probably not. Let's go for health and wellness. Okay, so what we can do here, we can just have a look through here. We can watch some videos, we can look at some statics. If we just want to look at statics, because obviously we're making some static ads here, we go to format and change that to statics. Now it's going to filter it all just by statics. Now we can also filter it by the longest running, the oldest, however you want it, you can change that. People like to use the longest running as a bit of an indicator for what is potentially the best performing. That isn't always the case because people just leave ads on regardless if they're only taking up a couple of pence a day or something. However, we're just going to have a look through and we're going to get an idea of what people are doing within the health and wellness niche. Now, I'm getting a lot of like supplements and stuff like that, not necessarily shaving ads. So I'm going to niche this down a little bit further. I'm going to get rid of this tag and I'm literally just going to post in here shaving. Okay. And it's going to look for all keywords that have shaving in it. We can see now we're getting some more relevant ads coming through. So Henson Shaving, this is one of their competitors, so it might be worth looking at them. We've also got some hair removal stuff as well, just some light therapy stuff. So we can see they're going quite hard on like the lot of headline style ads in here. We've got some us versus them. We've got some more like wink wink nudge nudge style ads here. A lot of female focused stuff on here as well. A lot of like text native content. So this gives a good idea of what people are running, and this might be able to guide us into what we should be making. But remember, if someone is looking for a new shaving product, the chances are they're getting targeted by all these brands anyway. So the last thing we want to do is just make ads that look like our competitors' ads. So what I suggest we do, because we're going to be using this tool anyway, is head over to Creative OS. I am one of the co-founders of this tool, and essentially it just gives you a load of templates that you can then open in Figma or Canva and make static ads from. We're going to be using this later on to actually help us design some statics, but I'm also going to use it for a little bit of inspiration as well. So I can look through a lot of their templates templates that they have, and I can get an idea like this Harry's one, that's kind of similar to what we see in the shaving people. That could be a good one. This is a bit more highly branded. See what we're doing? We're just grabbing some inspiration of what we think could potentially work for the brand. You can take this even further. You can import reviews into ChatGPT and you can get it to, extract information that you can then further use. The research can go as far as you like. I would always suggest do as much research as you can do and load up like a Claude project or a Poppy AI project with as much research as you can do, because as I always say, the more context that you give these AI tools, the better the outputs. Okay, so now we need to actually come up with some ideas for the static. So for this, I think I'm going to use Poppy. Poppy is probably one of my go-to like AI tools currently. However, you can do a very similar thing within like Claude or ChatGPT or something like that. I just like the visual way that Poppy works. However, let's not forget that this is not a free tool. There is a link down below if you want to sign up for it. It's an affiliate link. However, Claude is free. So if you want to use Claude, then you can do, but we're just going to open a brand new board here and we're just going to start in Poppy. So how Poppy works is we can just upload things to like a visual, like mind map style database. So I'm just going to pop in here our deep research document. This is, remember, what we got from ChatGPT before. And I'm just going to say research on the brand. Okay, so there we have our research on who's buying the Leaf products. Now I'm also going to grab this document here, which is how to make great Facebook ads, static ads. What we can also do is we can import YouTube videos into here. So I'm going to go import one of my own YouTube videos. So I'm going to get my masterclass for static ads. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to put it into Poppy here. I'm just going to paste it in here. So here now we've kind of filled it up with a bit of the information that we need, right? We've got a little guide on how to make good static ads. We've got a little video on how to make static ads. And now we also have the deep research for the brand as well. Now, another thing that I could do here is we can import the website if we want. So if we go here, we can import the website URL. I'm giving this just some information here on what it is. We're kind of loading, we're loading the database as much as we can do. Again, you can do this within Claude projects. You can just import everything just as like context documents. I like doing this because it's just a bit more visual, and doing ad creative is very visual, so why would we not use this? Now what I've also done here is I've just dragged these into a group here just so we can just for ease basically, but I'm going to put, so one group here is going to be for the research, another one is going to be for like how to make good static ads. So they're our two things there. So one thing you can do is if you have access to your reviews, then you want to import them into Poppy or Claude, wherever, because this will really help you understand what the customer is saying and why they love your product. Now, what we want to do is we want to now load all these into our chat. So I'm actually using Claude for Sonnet inside Poppy. It's just a different kind of way of using projects basically. So I've just linked my research as well as my like how-to into here. Now I'm going to full screen this. We're going to just work inside Poppy and start to build some ideas for our ads. So one thing I like to do before I do anything with AI and projects is I like to do just like a bit of a gut check, just so I know that it understands what I'm talking about. So I'm literally just going to say, I want you to use your project knowledge and tell me what you understand about Leaf Shave. I'm just going to send that and see whether it's actually digested the right information. Okay, cool. So we can see it's pulling up all the right stuff. So we definitely have all the information that we need. So I think we can probably now start to ideate and start to build some ideas for static ads. So remember, we're using static ads to efficiently and cleanly communicate what our product does for the customer. That's the whole idea behind static ads. A lot of the time, static ads are at the bottom of the funnel. And so these people are probably familiar with the brand already. They just need a little more encouragement to purchase. Guys, before we go any further, I want to give a big thank you to Omnisend for sponsoring this portion of the video. All the ecom brands that I see scaling with serious numbers have one thing in common, and that is they have a ton of automations running behind the scenes. This isn't optional anymore. Most brands have automations running, sure. However, usually the segmentation is pretty weak and there's no real automation behind it. And what's even worse is most e-commerce brands don't even realize that they're losing 30 to 50% of the revenue that they could be making with email and SMS. And that is where Omnisend comes in. It fills that gap. They offer drag and drop emails. They've got pre-bill automations, and most importantly, proper revenue tracking. You can send a welcome flow, an abandoned cart email, and even birthday campaigns in minutes. And most importantly, they have SMS built right in. No extra tools, no weird integrations. It's just all there. And what's really cool is it's worldwide, and it works alongside your emails just like SMS should do. I've paired with Omnisend to give you 30% off your first 3 months. All you need to do is use the code Fraser30 at checkout or use the link below. Go check them out and see what real clean email and SMS can do for your business. Now, back to the video. So Poppy is actually very good with just very simple prompts. You might need to write longer prompts in other tools. However, Poppy is very good at just simple prompts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, look at all the information and give me some ideas for static ads to sell the leaf. What product should we do here? A couple of different products. I think we should do a female one. So I think at this point, when we start to ideate, it's probably a good idea to have a look at what product you actually want to make an ad on and what customer you want to target. You can have a look at your data for this, or maybe you only have one product and one customer, whatever that is. For us, I think what we're going to do, we're going to pick females because I know from the research that that is a pretty big demographic for them. And the most popular razor for them is this 3-bladed one. So you can see here is the triple blade razor. So we're going to get the triple blade razor and it's going to be for females. So we can import that into here. So look at all the information. Give me some ideas for a static ad to sell the leaf 3-blade razor to women. Okay, so it's just going to come up with some ideas and we're going to start brainstorming with the AI. So AI is just a fantastic assistant. That's how I see it, and that's often how I use it. So if I'm brainstorming things, I'm dumping it into an AI like this, as well as coming up with my own ideas. Or I'm even using AI to validate my own ideas. Maybe I've got a really good idea and I want to ask AI whether it is a good idea. So we've got a couple here that it's come up with. We've got a problem solution focused ad, razor burn relief, finally a razor that doesn't betray your skin, plastic waste gill, I'm not plastic, using their blade engraving, money math ad, what if I told you this 84 razor will save you 500? That's good. I think there's a better way to say that. I do like the price anchoring idea because cartridges cost a lot of money over a long time. So perhaps there's something there. Daily cost breakdown ad. I like that idea. Testimonial ad, potentially legs, underarms, a bikini, one razor you shave everywhere. I think what we're going to do, we're going to go for, because I really like this idea, like the cost saving focused ads, because that is one of their big selling points. Because you're buying this razor that will last forever, you never need to buy another one. You never need to buy cartridges again. All you need to buy is their little razors, which cost absolutely nothing. I think this is the main reason why people, specifically women, might want to buy this razor. So now we're going to actually start to write the copy and start to build an ad. Okay, so to write the copy, the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to ask it for some more ideas. So I really like the cost saving focused ads, but give me some more options. Okay, so I'm just going to ask it for a couple more options based on the ideas that I liked. So it's given us an absolute ton of ideas here. We've got a side-by-side check. We've got the cartridge addiction, the $1,000 shave. You'll spend $1,000 plus on razors in your lifetime. Unless you make one smart decision today, the leaf costs $84. Everything else costs less forever. I like that one. So I think what we're going to do, we're going to ask it for some, I want to use price anchoring within this angle. Write me some ideas. So we know that price anchoring is a very powerful tool. Okay, so if we can use that, then why wouldn't we? Okay, specifically when we're talking about cost comparison of something. So it's writing us a load of ideas here. I can see some coming in, the Netflix logic, the gym membership reality. There's a couple here. I think we're probably going towards the right direction now. So you can see that we're coming up with ideas. We're feeding that to the AI and we're giving that some direction. That's the best way to do it. AI is never going to come up with something straight away. It's just not going to work. And if you are an expert on your product and ad creative, then it's best that you guide the AI. So I don't like the idea of like putting it towards like a handbag or a luxury car or something. I don't think that quite works. Manicures, I don't think we're going the right path here. There was this one here, the salon shave at home, but I don't think anyone goes to the salon for like a daily shave, but I guess maybe they do. Laser hair removal alternative. Maybe we're not going down the right path. Let's have a look at something else. So I'm actually going to go back to Creative OS here and I'm going to have a look through and I'm going to see if there's any which might inspire us in terms of what direction we could go with copy, right? So there's obviously like a lot of different stuff here that you can filter it by. So maybe we go something, a comparison ad, maybe we look at a comparison ad. So I like the idea of doing a comparison ad between traditional razors and the new razor. So let's say we did something like this obvi example. Okay, so let's go back to Poppy and let's say I want to do a us versus them static ad. Could you help write it? I want to compare the leaf blade to a normal disposable razor. I want to target women and make the copy a little cheeky. Okay, I think I said let the company be a bit cheeky, but I think it will get what we mean. So it's given us a couple of like trusty us versus them here. So it's given us, you know, left side what this is, right side what this is, but it's also sparked a really cool idea, the breakup letter. I like this idea of this like text only image, which is kind of designed a bit like a letter and will address like all the concerns of why people don't like to use disposables. Okay, so let's do that. And I don't think we need to use a template for this. I think we can just do it inside Canva. So let's open up Canva here. Let's have a look. We're just going to create a new document. I'm just going to go social media here and we're going to do a 4x5 and let's have a look what we can pull together. So I'm going to go and grab this copy here. Dear Plastic Razors, it's not me, it's definitely you. Let's pop this into Canva here. So I'm just going to pop some text in for now, I think. Okay, dear Plastic Razors. Let's just do a bit of design now. This is the great thing about where we are in terms of technology right now, is that I just used AI to help guide me towards an idea and copy for a static. And now I'm using a free tool. I'm using Canva to now design the static. And remember, if you don't have any design experience at all and you're not familiar, you can then use Creative OS and you can help that guide you towards an idea that you can use. Because remember, if we did go for the us versus them copy that it came up with here, we could very easily put that into one of the Creative OS ideas here and we could have an ad up in minutes. So I've just been sat here thinking, and I think this might make like the perfect like fake iMessage idea. So what I've actually done is I've headed over to Creative OS and I've just had a look through their templates and I found a couple here that I think we can use. Now we actually have two, I think. So there's this one here, right? There's this is what I was originally thinking when I saw that like big block of text thing. So I think we could use something like that, or we could use a iMessage, or we could use them both and test them with variations. Okay, so what we're going to do, let's do this one first. So I'm going to head over to my document here. Just going to copy this in here. So I'm going to align all this here. We're going to make this a little bit bigger. I think we're going to change the font as well because I don't really like this font. Let's have a look what else we have. Helvetica is always a pretty solid one. Let's use that. Okay, there we go. I don't want any of that bold. I just want that bold. All right, I like that. Now we're going to head over to Leaf and we're going to grab their color. All right, so we're going to grab this like light pink color here that they have. I'm going to make that the background color. All right, there we go. Okay, so now we're just going to have a look here. Dear cheap plastic razor, this isn't working anymore. You cost me $500 a year, clog after 2 strokes, and frankly, you're just not that good in bed. I mean bathroom. I found someone better. They're metal, they last forever, and they actually care about my legs. It's not me, it's definitely you. Every smart woman. I really like this. So let's have a look now here, back here. We're going to go PS, the Leaf razor says hi. Okay, so we're going to add this bit in down here. I really like the way that's laid out. I think we need an image of the Leaf razor. So I'm just going to head here where I just grabbed an image of their product and I'm just going to post that in here, and I think we can remove the background within here. Yes, we can. Let's see if it does it correctly. Come on, AI, don't fail me now. There we go. Lovely. Done. Now, I think potentially this needs maybe a bit of a CTA, so we could put this here. So let's just go back to Creative OS and let's have a look at what they've done here. So there's actually no kind of mention directly. There's no branding on it or anything. So I think what we have here might actually work. I really like this. I think this is a really kind of smart idea. And this came from a mixture of our own creativity and like letting it kind of run wild, but then also it came from AI, which was sparking the inspiration. You see how the two start to work together? Now at Fraggle, when we make any ad, whether it's video or static, we make variations. Variations are basically the same ad but with something changed. We're treating it like a science experiment. We're changing one thing at a time so that we can tie that back to the change it has in performance. So a good example of a video variation is changing the hook. A good idea of a static variation is maybe changing the headline. So if we look at this here that we've just made inside Canva, we can duplicate it here and we can make a variation. We can also use AI to help us with that. So let's say here, I've gone with write me another version to A/B test. Okay, so we're leaving this up to AI to do. We can also think of some other variations for us to use, and it's thinking and it's going away and it's going to write us something new. You know what's really weird? The first thing it's come up with here is the breakup text, which was the variation I was talking about that we could make it into before, which is really funny. But I think I want to keep this generic idea and I just want to change the headline. So could we use the original but change the copy? Okay, so I'm just asking it to change the copy. I don't want a completely new idea, because at that point I feel like we're potentially changing too much, which might lead us to not have the correct learnings. Okay, so it's given us like a whole other version here. So it's said here, dear plastic razor. Instead, this is goodbye forever. There we go. So for this, we're just going to change all the copy. And if this one performs better than the other one, then we know that it was a copy problem and not a format problem. Okay, so we just need to format it back to the same one. So I think what we're going to do here, let's just remember, so it's dear plastic razor. Bring this up here. This is a little bit longer, this one, so we might have to do a little bit of editing to make it fit. We've been together too long and I'm finally ready to admit the truth. You're expensive, unreliable, and frankly terrible at what you do. You promised me smooth legs, delivered razor burn. You said you'd be affordable, cost me hundreds, and don't even get me started on... Okay, let's get rid of that line. Don't think we need that one. I find someone that actually cares about my skin and my wallet. They're built to last. They're gorgeous and they make me feel good about my choices. This is goodbye forever. Let's get rid of the PS. Let's do a sincerely. Boom. Now we have two ads of a very similar format but different text, so we can test them against each other and see which one works. So when we're looking at the results to garner whether this was a good static or not, we're looking at a few different things. Obviously the CPA, which was the cheapest to purchase a sale. We're looking at the CTA, which one had the highest click-through rate, and we're also looking at the cost per click, which one cost us the least to get a click. Obviously, because this is a static, we don't have things like hook rate and hold rate, so we're looking at the other results to help us understand why this ad was successful or not. So now all you need to do is go and run that into your ad account and happy days. This is the exact system that we use here at Fraggle to generate statics for 7, 8 and 9 figure D2C brands. We researched the brand, we gained some insights, we crafted a really sharp angle with the help of AI, we wrote some really great copy, and we finally designed it for free inside Canva. Most brands are treating static ads as filler. We want to use them as a weapon. If you happen to run a D2C brand that's spending over 70k on ads every single month, I would absolutely love to speak to you. You can scan the QR code on the screen, or you can head to the link down below and we can have a chat and a conversation and we'll see whether it's a good fit. And if you haven't already seen the video that I mentioned earlier on where I break down some of our best performing static ads, then you can go and watch that one after this. But thanks very much for watching. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button and I'll see you in the next one.